what just happened? AJ has been KO'd enough that he's in with a guy who can whatever you want to say about Prenga, if he hits you with the right hand, like he can punch with his right hand. For a guy who's been through some knockouts, isn't that dangerous?
That is dangerous. He's the better boxer, better resume. This guy ain't never seen nothing like me. He's supposed to go in there and knock this.
We also don't know how good Prenga is at this level. Yeah. He might not be good enough for this level. He might be good enough for this level. Hopefully it's the first one. But at the same time, it's a real challenge.
As Anthony Joshua returns to the ring for the first time since December against unbeaten Albanian puncher Kristian Prenga, analysts are split on the outcome. Before anyone talks about legacy, Tim Bradley says Joshua's arrogance is his armor, keeping him calm and composed, while relying on a boxing IQ he believes is far beyond anything Prenga can offer.
Like that, right? Like this is a guy that like, he don't take these type fights like lightly. You know what I mean? Like a Usyk. Nah, he gonna go in there and he gonna be ready, and he's far more superior. He's the better boxer, better resume. This guy ain't never seen nothing like me. He's supposed to go in there and knock this guy out.
One thing I'll say,
expecting him to
Tim, one thing I'll say, I'll direct it this way. Sometimes, and you can correct me if you believe I'm wrong here, but I'm not. Sometimes when a guy goes through a couple of knockouts or a brutal fight or a stretch in his career where he stopped a couple times, the wiring gets rewired a little.
Turning to the man across the ring, the conversation gets more pointed. Prenga's spotless 20-0 mark with 20 stoppages draws respect, but not full confidence. Max Kellerman keeps circling back to who's actually been in front of him. Power, they agree, is undeniable. Pedigree is another matter entirely. It's not about an unbeaten record. It's about an unproven one.
I think of Meldrick Taylor after the Chavez fight. Second time he fought Chavez, he was actually beating Chavez easy, outboxing him, looking great. And the first time Chavez hit him, after that Chavez fight, every time Meldrick took a good shot, it was like, what just happened? AJ has been KO'd enough that he's in with a guy who can whatever you want to say about Prenga, if he hits you with the right hand, like he can punch with his right hand. For a guy who's been through some knockouts, isn't that dangerous?
That is dangerous. I mean, look, you got to always take into account. You can't go 20-0. I mean, I understand that he faced cab drivers, but at the end of the day, it still knocked him out, right? He still got the punch about to knock him out. But I think Prenga definitely poses a threat because he can punch. Okay, I give him that.
The conversation shifts to history. Max points to a specific night as proof of his mettle. What stood out to him was how Joshua responded, effectively cementing himself as the era's de facto top heavyweight. He doesn't see his knockout loss as a measuring stick for what Prenga can expect. That's the level of opponent Prenga is stepping up to face. An unbeaten and well-regarded fighter.
Who can punch? Crazy. And from a legacy standpoint, you're right, Max.
Legacy.
People have to remember that the Vladimir Klitschko era, boxing was in the doldrums. The heavyweight division was boring. It had no interest at all. Yeah. There was just Vladimir Klitschko for 10 years, outboxing, fighters well below his level. Joshua Max ushered in a new era of excitement, of sold-out stadiums across Europe, and then Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder and Usyk.
Speaking of Tyson Fury, who did beat Klitschko when Klitschko was still...
Shifting from pedigree to preparation, Eddie Hearn offers a promoter's eye view of what's really at stake this weekend. He's not dismissive of Prenga's power, but he draws a hard line between finishing overmatched opposition and standing across from someone who's shared a ring with world-class operators. That gap in class, in Hearn's eyes, is exactly what separates a live underdog from a genuine threat.
Well, it's heavyweight boxing. I mean, the guy's got 20 wins, 20 knockouts. I guess it's easy to say, yeah, but he's never beaten anybody of the ability or with the CV of Anthony Joshua, but he's never been in with them either. So we know he's a young guy with plenty of ambition, he's a big lump and he can punch. Therefore we have to take him seriously, given everything that's happened to Anthony, given everything that he's had to overcome, given the carrot of Tyson Fury. I will always tell you it's squeaky bum time. But we should be good enough, we should be professional enough to go out there and do a demolition job on Kristian Prenga.
Joshua himself doesn't shy away from the intent behind this one, confirming plainly that he wants to harm Prenga, quick to add that it's nothing personal, just a reflection of the drive that gets him ready. What he's really chasing is proof to himself, a chance to show he's still a genuine wrecking machine with power in both hands.
When you go into that Prenga fight, is it like, because obviously...
I want to hurt Prenga, I want to hurt him, yeah, definitely.
Is it okay to go in and destroy this guy in 1 or 2 rounds?
So what it is with Prenga, why I say I want to hurt him is, nothing to do with him. It's just me. It's just I believe in myself and I know I can do it. And I want to prove to myself I'm a serious wrecking machine. I've got dynamite in both hands and I want to punch with bad intentions.
Do you feel pressure in that fight, even though you're obviously a big favourite in the fight, because of what's to come, or you just put the pressure on yourself?
Everything, pressure on the fight, on myself. I want to perform, I want to win, I want to fight Fury.
Joshua doesn't dial back the ambition one bit. If anything, he leans further into it, insisting the hunger that built his career hasn't dulled with age or setbacks. Becoming undisputed champion isn't framed as some far-off nostalgic goal. The drive to reach the very top of the sport is presented as just as sharp now as it's ever been.
When I enter the gym, I pray a lot more. He's very prayerful and I can pick that up from him. And I can take that anywhere. And work ethic, you can take anywhere. So there are two things which I think really do separate him. And if I can improve my spiritual, I'll definitely get to where I want to get to, and I believe I can become undisputed. I've still got the ambition and hunger, and anything below that is a champion. So one of the two I'm definitely going to get.
Turning to the noise coming from the other side, Joshua doesn't get pulled into it. He waves off the confidence on display from Prenga and his team as little more than surface-level talk. What he keeps coming back to is his own internal preparation, the work nobody sees. Everything else, he says, gets settled the moment that first bell rings, setting the tone.
Yeah, let me tell you something, yeah?
Go on.
You see, there's a few things with fighting. I'm sitting here talking to you now.
Yeah.
And this is surface level.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk a lot of shit. I could tell you everything that you wanna hear.
Yeah.
But you see, when you get home, deep down in your heart, you know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
There's a big difference on what I speak to you about now.
Yeah.
And what I truly feel in my heart.
Mm-hmm.
And secondly, when you take that walk to the ring, don't matter what you said, because all the truth will come out when fists start flying.
Spencer Oliver, the next chapter in a career that never really stopped, just paused. There's a genuine big fight atmosphere building around it, driven by the fact that Joshua isn't walking into a soft return, but a matchup with a legitimately heavy-handed threat in Prenga.
Joshua was absolutely fantastic. He actually talks about, this is labelled the comeback, but Joshua actually said it's not the comeback, it's the continuation. It was a fascinating chat with him, and it really was. And Kristian Prenga, boy, does he fancy his chances here?
Well, he was the first we bumped into, Kristian Prenga, and he's a huge lad, and he believes he's got the power to shock the world. Of course, AJ was shocked many years ago by Andy Ruiz in the Garden in New York. He rebuilt here in Saudi Arabia to get the win and become a two-time heavyweight champion.
From there, the conversation turns physical, with the presenters pointing to visible changes since Joshua linked up with Alexander Usyk's camp in Spain. He's noticeably leaner, and the emphasis in camp has reportedly been on movement and mobility. A deliberate effort to avoid the kind of flat-footed positioning that would play right into Prenga's power.
The caution in the Usyk camp, doing all the different tricks, techniques that they choose behind that sort of HQ in Spain.
He looked lean, and that's a great question actually, because I'm glad you asked me that, because I did want to pick up on it. Like, he looked very lean, which tells me that there's been a lot of movement. He's up on his toes. He's trying to, implement that stuff, that fire that was there, that explosiveness that was there at the beginning of his career, because that's where he's dangerous, AJ. When he goes flat-footed and he sits in the pocket, he's a sitting target. Kristian Prenga got that punch. He doesn't want to be doing that. We need movement, mobility, and I think that's what we're going to see from AJ.
With a potential Fury showdown circling, the consensus is that Joshua takes this one, and that doing so isn't just a formality, but the exact kind of statement win needed to finally force the long-stalled mega fight into motion.
Tyson Fury, it's all about just ticking over, keeping the cobwebs away for the big fight that will happen in November. I believe Tyson Fury turns up here Saturday night, gate crashes the ring after AJ KOs Kristian Prenga, and the fight is made. Where it's made, who knows?
But AJ turned up to Tottenham and said he was the landlord and nothing happened.
Listen.
We know it's been signed.
Yeah,
we don't know where it's going to be.
It's been signed.
AJ wants it in the UK. Let's get that absolutely clear.
Yeah,
and I think Tyson as well.
It's been signed, it's been sealed, and on Saturday, it's going to be delivered.
Turning attention to the man in the opposite corner, Gareth A. Davies takes a harder look at what Prenga's numbers actually represent. The knockout tally reads well on paper, but he's not to most seasoned observers. He remains largely an unknown.
He's up against Kristian Prenga. Prenga, for me, I'm just going to throw this at you. Prenga's 35. I think he's 20 knockouts in 20 fights and 1 defeat. They didn't make enough, in my view, Tris, digging between the lines, of his victory against Joey Dwejko in 2024, because Dwejko is the guy who purportedly gave Anthony Joshua nightmares in sparring before he fought Andy Ruiz in New York. That won't have been lost on you all those years ago, because you dig around in the sport as well.
Someone who simply hasn't been tested at the level Joshua's used to operating at. From there, Gareth A. Davies doesn't hedge. His prediction is blunt. Joshua takes this out early, inside the first 2 rounds. He's not blind to the danger every heavyweight carries into the ring, but in his view, the gulf in skill and experience here is simply too wide to expect this one to go long. He stresses how quickly he gets the job done, while avoiding any unnecessary risks.
For me, and I'm going to throw it out there right now, I think AJ bulldozes through him in a round, if not 2 rounds. Yes, there are risks, all of those kind of things, because Prenga can clearly punch, but AJ is a different level. I just think he blows him away.
Well, when you think of the brain trust, Gareth, they're not going to take a chance. And when you think of what they're trying to get to in terms of the Fury fight, they're not going to roll the dice and put him in a 50-50 or even an 80-20. They're just not going to do that. So I think you're right. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me to see AJ bank some rounds, a bit like the Jake Paul fight. I think, he could have...
Tris Dixon, meanwhile, zooms out to the bigger picture. He reads Joshua's camp as playing this with real caution. Every decision built around protecting the road ahead. With a mega fight against Fury hanging in the balance, the last thing his team wants is an unnecessary risk that costs them the bigger prize.
Yeah, but I also think it's to do with AJ's mindset in the sense that you can't make a misstep when you're so close to the prize that he's close to, and I feel like with AJ, and I know we've touched upon it earlier, with everything he's been through, including the tragedy in December. He's not going to jump on anyone. He's going to take some time. He's going to see where the land lies and, slowly start breaking Prenga down. When I say slowly, with the gap in class might mean that he does do that in 5 or 6 minutes, which will be a couple of rounds.
Kicking things off, Barry McGuigan puts Prenga's unbeaten record under a magnifying glass. And the consensus is that 20 knockouts don't mean much against the level of opposition he's faced. Questions about Joshua's chin haven't fully gone away, but he frames this bout less as a genuine threat and more as a stage for Joshua to reintroduce himself.
He can bang, and he's a danger. So for Anthony Joshua, there is a risk, because the old Vera Lynn has been questioned recently with the knockout loss to Dubois. And there was always to be honest, there was always a question mark, could he hold a shot at, against the guys that could really bang? So, Kristian Prenga certainly has a knockout record, but against very low standard opposition. So I think it's just really a showcase to build the Tyson Fury fight up, and I think he'll knock this guy out pretty quickly.
Building on that, McGuigan raises a different kind of concern altogether. In his view, Joshua has already banked enough money and enough achievement that there's no real need to keep putting himself in harm's way. Fighters almost never walk away on their own terms. More often, they stay a fight or two too long, chasing one more night until the record starts to show it.
Well, he's earned a fortune. He's still very lucid, very sharp, a good-looking kid. He's got it all going for him. It's only my opinion, but my opinion is not necessarily his opinion, and he may not have the same sort of views as me. But if you've done what he's done, he's won the World Championship. He regained the championship. Go out on a high. Don't hang around for too long. He doesn't need the money. He must have half a billion in the bank, so he doesn't need to.
When it comes to predictions, there's no real split in the room. Everyone expects Joshua to take control early and finish this with authority. Prenga is actually the more dangerous name on paper. Still, his final word is blunt. He expects Joshua to roll through him quickly. The belief is that Joshua's class should overwhelm him before the fight has a chance to become competitive.
as you say, the Albanian guy, Prenga, is probably the more risky. But, you know, especially as Joshua has been known to be knocked down, and Andy Ruiz done it, you know, Dubois done it. And we've seen over the years that he is vulnerable to a right hand over the top of that sloppy left hand of his. So he's more at risk, but you would still imagine that he would just roll this guy over and destroy him. And Mariusz Wach will last as long as Tyson Fury wants him to last.
Wants him to, yeah. I mean, I noticed twice that Barry said...
A day also opens by zooming out on the bigger picture, framing it as one piece of a much longer game plan. Beyond Prenga, he sees a buildup unlike anything the sport has seen in years taking shape. The kind of promotion that only comes around when a Fury fight is finally within reach. And with it, everything riding on how Joshua's story plays out from here.
The headline here says Anthony Joshua could spend the next 3 years in the ring. That's the plan. That's the plan. AJ gets past Prenga. AJ gets past Tyson Fury. That's going to be massive, by the way. The build up to AJ Tyson Fury is going to be like unlike anything we've ever seen. I'm trying to think of the biggest build up of fight I've ever experienced. And it's probably not two boxers. It's probably Floyd Mayweather versus Conor McGregor. This will be as big as that. It's going to be enormous. But look, AJ's got to get past Kristian Prenga first.
Weighing on his prediction, Aid doesn't leave much room for doubt. He expects a fast, emphatic finish, pointing to this camp as Joshua's second full cycle with his current coach, a stretch he believes has finally clicked into place. The prediction isn't just a win, it's a performance built to prove the chemistry is real.
And I have no doubt in my mind that AJ does defeat Kristian Prenga and does it quickly. But no doubt in my mind. There are some times where I'm like, you know, if AJ gets caught, this could happen, but no. I think AJ is going to be destructive. I think AJ is going to be fast. This will be AJ's second camp under his new trainer, so hopefully they're a bit more in sync about what is expected from Anthony Joshua, and Anthony Joshua's in sync about what's expected from his new trainer. But I expect this to be a very, very good AJ, regardless of what's happened outside the ring.
As for the man across the ring, Aid doesn't deny the physical package strength, and a puncher's danger are all there. What makes him doubt is the level behind it, given how thin Prenga's opposition has been. And with so much resting on this final stretch of Joshua's career, Aid's bottom line is simple. There's no margin left for slip-ups.
And I kind of expect that with AJ. Look, Kristian Prenga is big, he's strong, he's a bit of a lump. You know, he supposedly has got knockout power. I say supposedly because we don't know the level of opponents he's been fighting, but I expect him to come and bring it. But I expect, because of what's in front of AJ, because of the opportunities at what is the final chapter for AJ, because of all that, I expect there to be no mistakes. And I hope there are no mistakes. I say this not just as a boxing person, but a fan of AJ, someone that knows him personally. I hope that...
However, Oliver Spencer expects the feeling out process to be brief at best, with Joshua taking a quick read on Prenga before opening up fully. They don't discount Prenga's ambition either. His is the kind of career-altering opportunity that brings out swings for the fences aggression. But that's exactly the problem. The wilder and more chaotic Prenga fights, the faster he hands Joshua the openings he needs.
I think that Joshua goes out there, he has a very short look at him, starts unloading on him, and I think the fight could be over as early as the second round. Prenga's that guy that will come with ambition because he's got 20 of his 21 wins all inside the distance, so he's got that winning mentality. He's going to see it as an opportunity, but that opportunity, that opportunity will create chaos, and chaos creates opportunity, and that will do him.
Chaos creates opportunity. You heard it from the Omen, and I've just got to say, finally, I agree with you on one thing today. 2 or 3 rounds, probably 2 rounds.
Digging into the tactical side, Vidal Riley and Jordan Banjo zero in on a habit that could define the night: Prenga's tendency to leave his lead hand hanging out in front of him. For a counterpuncher of Joshua's caliber, that's less a flaw than an invitation, setting up exactly the kind of right hand Joshua has built his career on.
Polanius and this and that. Vidal touched on it. Prenga isn't the big, come out fast, explosive guy. He's poking, he's priming with his jab, he's this and that. The one thing we see from AJ, the one thing he loves is someone leaving that hand long. Yeah. That slip, boom, come over with that right hand, and he puts people out. The same way he did with Pulev, like, that's what he likes. This guy is perfect for him. Whenever I've watched AJ, people I've always seen him struggle with, like you said, is the small, like people who are smaller than him, come forward, explosive, quick hands, they come over, they catch that shot over on their temple there, and he goes like, they're the sort of things you see with AJ. There's these patterns that kind of appear, which is why.
Adding to his prediction, Vidal Riley sees this going a bit longer, landing on a 6-round finish. His read is that Joshua won't force anything early, instead leaning on patience and ring IQ, settling into rhythm until he can draw Prenga into an exchange on his own terms. It's a more measured take than most betting on control over chaos.
AJ within 6. AJ within 6.
Knocks him Spark out, stopped on his feet.
I think he's going to knock him Spark out.
Similar to Ngannou?
Not immediately. Probably drop him, he'll get back up, bang him again, and then he'll be out. I don't think AJ's going to come out crash bang all over. If the opportunity presents itself, because Prenga's doing something lazy, like Jordan said, leaving his lead hand out there, he'll crack him. But if he comes out reserved, then AJ's not going to rush at him. I think he's going to, enjoy the space a bit, box a bit, and then he'll get cracking.
David Allen isn't as patient with his forecast, calling for a stoppage inside 3 rounds. His logic is simple. Prenga isn't built to sit back and survive, and the moment he chooses to engage instead, he's liable to walk straight into something heavy. Patience isn't part of the equation. He's banking on Prenga's own instincts to be his undoing.
David?
Yeah, I'll go Joshua in 3. I just think Prenga's not going to run. Prenga's going to come and, try and take Joshua out, and I think he'll walk onto something. I think he's only got the ability for this level, Prenga, from what I've seen. He's a big guy, though. It'll be interesting how he holds up when he gets it, but even if he takes one, he's not going to take too many.
The only prediction that actually counts is the one made under the lights. Whether it's a 2-round blowout or a fight that stretches further than expected, we'll be breaking down every angle the moment the final bell rings. Make sure you're subscribed and have notifications turned on, so you won't want to miss the reaction the second Joshua's hand gets raised.